that for the people of Tigray. I hope that for our relatives in Palestine. And I hope for that for our people here on Turtle Island as well. And so we have a few housekeeping things we need to do. I'm going to load this chanupa, this breaker pipe, which is going to lead us in ceremony to lead the other direction. So I ask that nobody film when I start loading this chanupa. It's not for spectator sport. It's a ceremony, and I just ask that people respect that and not film that. And then once that chanupa is loaded, please don't walk in front of it. And so myself, the banner, the drum, and the singers, we will be the first peoples with our Tigrayan relatives. I just ask that nobody cross in front of that chanupa or that drum. It's really disrespectful to do so. And so we know mistakes happen. And we know that, our ancestors know that. And so we just do our best. That's all I ask, is that we all just do our best tonight. And we're going to have a good march. And I just really want to say thank you. And I don't know, Malete, if you want to say anything, if you have any housekeeping things or things to bring awareness to, but I would be honored. Thank you very much. Ashram.
Thank you, Sister Guy. We're going to say a lot more once we get to the middle and meet all of our students. But I really just want to thank you because today is really a day to honor you and your people and all the things that you've gone through. That you've opened up your space to us is something beyond. I mean, we're so honored. We're so grateful that you've done that. So thank you, and we'll say more once we get to our centered place. But thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. She doesn't want you to film while they do that. Yeah. Just until she's done. There's some
Just make sure. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks so much. Hey, dear brother.
I just asked you not to do it.
Wow. Hey, I see you. What's up? Good. I didn't see you. I saw you. Sorry. We are here. What's up, dear? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Hello. How are you?
Yeah, I brought candles.
Do you want to say anything? Say it right now, because you're live.
Yes. It's Indigenous Peoples Day today, and they've honored us by inviting Tegaru, people whose indigenous land is currently being invaded in Ethiopia, to come together in solidarity and show support for one another. So we're really grateful to be here with our Indigenous brothers and sisters and to speak up for Tigray.
Yeah, so what do you think about the Tagaros making connection with other ethnic who are being disadvantaged in this country, also all over the world?
Yeah, I think there are Indigenous people all over the world right now who are being abused and whose lands are being taken and who are under genocidal attack. And so it's going to take the power of Indigenous people coming together to break that evil, and that's what we're doing today.
Thank you so much.
finish recording.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, don't touch me, though.
It's alright.
Yeah, just I'm a journalist.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a journalist. It's okay. Yeah, don't touch anybody. Don't touch. You don't touch.
Okay. Yeah, my fault.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm a journalist. I'm allowed.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh
Hey, buddy.
I'm not tired.
Okay, buddy. So, anything that did not get close or what else?
So there's going to be a Chinook or a like, and then there's the drum, that. Outside of that, okay, gotcha. Pretty soon. Yeah, thank you. No worries. Thank you for supporting us. Bless you guys.
Thank you. Excuse me.
You okay?
Come here. I'm sorry. Can you say it in English to our Tagalog people? What do you feel about our people and why you have us today? And then, please, thank you. We're live. Your name, please?
My name is Walter Lee Hawkins, Charging Man.
Yes. Thank you so much. Can you say something about your family and your tribe, and then also introduce yourself, and then say something to our Tagalog family who often have a hard time in the home land in Tigray. Thank you.
My name is Walter Lee Hawkins. I'm Lakota Sioux. My people come from both Pine Ridge and Rosebud reservations. My family moved out here during 1945 during the relocation in Lakota. We have this march every year to stand up against the oppression of the colonizers, of the imperial government that we are underneath. We've asked our Tigrayan brothers and sisters to join us in the struggle against that imperialism, because just like we suffer here, they suffer in their home country as well, with different things that come along with the oppression of the imperialistic forces that we're facing. So we want to thank you for coming out and supporting us. And if you have any actions or anything like that, please feel free to contact us so we can come support you as well.
Thank you, brother, and thanks for having us.
Doksha.
Yes, and we are live in Colorado. This is the Indians who used to be on the land here, but they just like you explained to us. We are doing a respect because they have a special tradition, um, and also they do some incense and they play drums, which is to honor their people and their ancestors. So when they do that, we don't get close to them. It's just like when we go to our church, especially like Tagalog Orthodox Church, and not all of us go to the inside of Makdas, but we are allowed to go to church. So the same way, like we take off our shoes when we go to church, and we have a tradition, but also they have certain rules for people to get around the drums and what have you. So right now they're getting ready to have people to meet. So um, they're going to be marching to another location. There's another people also. There is 4 other demonstrators. They're going to meet them on the street. So there's east, west, north, and south. So this one is for the Tagalog group with the Indians. 4 direction, as it says. So they're coming from the 4 directions, from east, west, and south, and north, and then they're going to meet in one of the closest park here. It's just about a mile away. So stay tuned with us. We're live at KETO Live. We're in Colorado here in Denver. Thanks so much.
so tall.
Sky. Yeah, now you're too great. Yes. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Alright, folks, we're just waiting on a couple of people. The South Direction hasn't stepped on yet. They got quite a distance to go. Getting folks out in other directions right now. I really appreciate your patience, and I just want to explain a little bit of the history of why we're here and why this is the way it is. Back in 1989, my community started a struggle to repeal and abolish Columbus Day in its birthplace, because it started here back in 1905, actually down in Pueblo, Colorado, where they still have a racist statue of Christopher Columbus that needs to come down. And they'll be talking about that this evening from the West Direction, because one of our aunties, our Unchis, Rita Martinez, she walked on this last year because of COVID, and she was fundamental in that struggle down in Pueblo. So we honor Rita Martinez tonight from the West Direction. And so she was part of this struggle. And so for many years we struggled. In 1992, over 5,000 people came out with us, and we stopped that parade. And they didn't have that parade for 7 years after that, because they were so afraid to come out because of the resistance that was there to greet them for their racism and their white supremacy. But then they came back. And then in 2001, there was a vision by some of our aunties from the Red Earth Women's Alliance. And in that vision, they had this idea about we can be against something forever. We can go to jail, we can get abused, we can get violated, but what are we for? What are we for in this struggle? It's easy to be against things, but what are we for? We're for transformation. We're for new world building, a world in which many worlds can fit, as the Zapatistas have taught us. We believe in a world in which many worlds can fit. We want a world in which Tigray can fit. We want a world in which Palestine can fit. We want a world in which our Chicano relatives can fit, and where indigenous peoples, wherever they may be, can fit and celebrate themselves. That's where the struggle came from. It came from women. And so this march was about removing ourselves from the capital. As many of us know, many of these marches this last year has revolved around that stupid building. And I understand why. Those people have influence. We get that. But sometimes we have to remind ourselves of who the real influence is. And the real influence is our Unchi Maka, Mother Earth. And if we reconnect to Mother Earth and we reconnect with creation, we're an unstoppable force. We know that to be true as indigenous peoples. And we know that's why they try to continually remove us and separate us from our homelands, because they know how strong we are when we are in our homelands, doing what we do best, living according to our original instructions. And that's why the Ethiopian government is trying to prevent that right now. That's why the United States government is trying to prevent that right now. And we will not allow that. We will not allow them to prevent us from being who we are unapologetically in our homeland. And so that's what we're for. We're for being unapologetic in our homeland. We're for the defense of Mother Earth. We're for the defense and protection of indigenous life, wherever it may exist. And that transcends human beings. These plants, they take care of us. The animals, they take care of us. And they never ask anything in return other than to us to live in balance with them. And we're not living in balance with them anymore. And so that's part of this raising awareness, this raising of consciousness. The world is out of balance. And we need to find that balance again within ourselves, within our communities, and then within the larger worldview. And so this is a direct confrontation, but in a good way. And so I ask people to just be mindful of that, because when I loaded this Chinupa, I asked our ancestors, all of our ancestors, to come and be with us this evening, to walk alongside us this evening, for the future generations that haven't yet been born yet, to come and walk with us, because they are coming. We have to believe that there will be a future Tigray. There will be a future indigenous peoples of Turtle Island. And so that is what this commitment here today is for, is to ensure that our people have a future, a livable future, not just a future to get by on, but a livable future. That's why we're out here tonight. And I hope that spirit resonates with you all. And what I really hope, as I was talking with Malete earlier, this is just the beginning. We really hope that this is just the beginning of true confederation between many of our communities. Because when we come together like this, we scare invader states. There's nothing that scares invader states more than when indigenous peoples remember that we're relatives and that we have a responsibility to each other and that we have a responsibility to defeat colonialism. They don't want to see that. And so this is a direct confrontation of that worldview. And I really want to say again, thank you from the bottom of my heart to our Tigrayan relatives. You didn't have to honor us this way this evening. I know it was last minute, but you came out strong. And we couldn't thank you more sincerely from the bottom of our hearts. And we want this to continue. We want to have forums. We want to have more conversations about how we can be better relatives to you all. How can we support our relatives who are still in Tigray? How can we support our indigenous relatives who aren't here to take this stand this evening? And so I ask that you just keep those things in mind as we march this evening, and that you chant your hearts out. You make the city of Denver remember that indigenous peoples live here. This is our homeland, and we have a right to not feel inferior in our homeland. And you as our relatives, you're guests here, and you have a right to be guests here. The United States doesn't define that. The Canadian government doesn't define that. The Ethiopian government does not define that. The Israeli government does not define that. We define that for ourselves. And so again, this is a brave act. It's a coming together of different nations of people, and I'm really touched by that. And so we're going to get started here pretty soon. And if any of our relatives from Tigray would like to say something, maybe open with a prayer or some good words to start us off in a good way, I would really welcome that as well. So please, thank you, and let's have a good time, a good visit. Watch out for each other. It's getting dark. traffic is crazy. People don't want to stop. So we have to look out for each other. And I know we're capable of that. We do it every single day. And so I just ask that we mindfully watch each other. If there's somebody who's lagging behind, tell the front of the march, guys, you need to slow down. People are lagging. You know, we never leave our people behind because we've had to do it for too long. On the Trail of Broken Treaties, the Trail of Tears, we've had to leave our people on the side. We couldn't even bury them. And much of the same situation is going on in Tigray. We can't even bury our dead. We can't even honor them in the way that we have always honored our dead. And that is not acceptable. And I'm not going to start that practice now of leaving people behind. And so we don't leave people behind when we march together. And so just be mindful, watch out for each other. Don't put up with any colonizers' BS. And we're going to get and meet with the rest of our relatives, and we're going to have a good celebration tonight. So thank you very much, Sean.
City Council.
Oh, God. Hello, Stella. Good. Sorry. No, you're good. Trying to get all this people.
Lead us out, and that's no different this time around either. So I just want to give him a minute to say a few things because he's been so powerful and prominent in trying to save our family.
Thank you, Alexei.